Good morning, everyone. Let me check my volume here. Should be good, if a little loud. All right. Well, as I was sitting last night, this morning, deciding who I wanted to have move through me today, my eyes were drawn to, actually, I was looking in one of Douglas's textbooks about the masters, and I was so taken by where I was shown that I simply want to read it to you today. And I hope that doesn't have you feel less, because it will actually be a address from, her name is Beloved Diana. It's not Lady Diana. Beloved Diana is the counterpart to Arcturus, who is the Elohim of the violet ray. I'll remind you for a moment, there are 7 rays of the Elohim. That is who God went to ask to create our world. First ray, blue, see behind you, blue ray. It is the will to do. It is Amore, who is the Elohim. The second ray is a yellow ray, illumination. It is Cyclopeia. Yes. So after they gave the agreement to, yes, we will make the earth, they each one took on a part of that. So Amore said, we will do. And Cyclopeia said, I will illuminate to the highest order. Third ray is Orion, and he brought the love. He will love all there is to love in the pink ray. The fourth ray was clarity. It was a white energy to make sure that the greatest clarity that could be would be held upon the earth ring. The fifth ray is green, Hilaron. It is healing, and a lot of all different things. Someday, if we go through all those things, you'll learn them. But very powerful. Now, the sixth ray is ruby gold. It is simply peace. But when we are manifesting, we don't use the sixth ray till the last, because the decision is to end in peace. So the seventh ray goes and is used when you're manifesting, and it is Arcturus and its counterpart Diana, lady. That's not Lady Diana, it's Beloved Diana, and about ministry and obligation and freedom. And then we would have the sixth ray that then would be last, which is the ruby gold, and it is peace. So this dictation, is what they call them, is about the 7 bodies. In the beginning, I'm going to skip over a few parts, but I know I say to you, and it's going to be about this image here. It's going to explain it better to you, what it means and who it is. That you need to connect to the higher self first. This part here. I get my hands all working, right? Even. Yes, right here. Your mediator. Usually thought of as the Jesus energy. And this is your I am presence. And this is all the different rays that have moved from around your aura up to above you. It is the Dharma that you've created through all your lifetimes. You know, we tend to hear a lot about our karma, which needs to be shifted, embraced, and let go. And these are the goodness that will be different widths depending on that Elohim, how you lived your life and chose to live. So let me say hello to everyone here. Good morning, Chase. So basically, this is what came to be your message today. as I'm not sure anyone has studied with a master. And good morning, Cavell and Dorothy. Know that you'll be in our thoughts. We know you'll watch it later. Carol Swisher, good morning. Barbara Ward. And yes, this is going to be a discussion you can ask questions with. Cavell again. Annie, good morning. Carrie, the World Traveler, good morning. Kathy Marino. Marby. Wonderful. So, we are all going to learn something today, because no matter who you are, every time you reread something, consciousness shifts. And I want to really try to impress that upon you. You may walk away from this and, gosh, I don't know. I don't remember anything. The blessing is you're going to have it on a video. But secondly, it's a beginning to have a process of understanding. It is a repetitive thing, spirituality. And the more you go over it, the more you can own it, the more you can live as it. So it isn't just a one-time thing. Not like maybe English or writing or that type of thing. And maybe some of those some people need to spend time on. But this will change your life. And I hope as I read this as it's written, for I don't want to leave a piece out. And why not let her speak her own words as she's written? You see? All right. So we got to finish setting up the energy. I can hear. So we bring Mother and Father into our hearts to join us as we go upon this journey. And we welcome all the angelic realm and all the ascended masters who are also sitting and paying attention, always when we are studying of the factual nature of the Elohim and the masters. And here again, I also welcome anyone from the universe who's of light, walking the path of light, that wants to know and understand more about how it all is and works and becomes. So we shall state our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Breathe. Take that down into every cell of who you are. And that's exactly where this writing is coming from, a book of a textbook which is for those studying to raise their consciousness into mastery to learn from. So today it was chosen, certainly not by me as TheoSophia, but through Mother and those around me and then my team, that this is where we need to go to bring an understanding so you can begin to understand the importance of this image. If you don't have one, you can always go to St. Germain Press, I believe it is, and they're very inexpensive. The Heart, Head, and Hand Decrees. Okay? And it will have your evolution on the back. What do they call it? The chart of your divine self. Okay? So she says, beloved friends of immortal light and life eternal. Okay, yes, I'm hearing. I need to make it clear. This is beloved Diana that she spoke in 1955. Most likely before Diana was born. Lady Diana. I bring you the gratitude from my heart for all you have done in the transformation of human creation, up to and including this moment right now. I speak the decree of the mighty Arcturus that every source that stimulates the senses of mankind to qualify the mental and feeling energies with impurity shall be wiped from the face of the earth now and forever. This shall be done, whether that impurity finds its expression on the written page, the cartoon, the obscene picture, or the story whispered from ear to ear. In the name of the great and mighty Arcturus, the beloved Zadkiel, and the Master Saint Germain, I say to those forces who stimulate the mental and feeling process to create imperfection to stop. Stop. Stop now, right now. Be thou transmuted into constructive activities which stimulate the higher thought, the purer feeling, and the cleaner living. Beloved ones, it is my service to bring to your attention, again, the truth which was presented to you some time ago by the beloved Saint Germain, who serves with my Lord Arcturus. Every vehicle which has been created by the flame of your individualization is composed of the substance of the sphere in which it functions. What does that mean? So let's say you're someone that was born upon the healing ray. It would mean that your flame is constructed and composed of the green sphere. For the purpose of simplicity and clarity, we shall refer to it as your electronic light substance. In the future, you shall have a more specific name. Projected from the Godhead and breathing within itself, the flame became the magnet which drew around itself electronic light, and with the help of the builders of form, created the white fire body. Of what is this white fire body composed? Millions and millions of electrons grouped together around central cores, forming spiritual atoms. These cores are in the life pattern of your own I am presence. Now, you see, that's a whopping big paragraph. So, whatever ray you were born on, and through different lifetimes, you most likely have been born each time on a different ray. When I work with people learning the rays, I ask to feel the familiarity. Some they have none. Some feels like they belong within them. So this is about a deepening of yourself as you begin to do the master work. The white fire body, what is it composed from? Millions and millions of electrons grouped together around central cores, forming spiritual atoms. These cores are in the life pattern of your own I am presence. So it's creating the personality, the identity, more the identity of the truth of who you are. Now you are aware of the colors of the causal body on the chart and the electric body of the I am presence. That electric experience becomes a part of that which encircles the presence. There is a blazing light, and as there is no impure substance lodged between those light rays, the electric body is completely free from the weight impurity of shadow. Every group of electrons forming the spiritual atoms emit the music of your keynote, the fragrance and the perfume of your being, and the beauty of your reason for being. And perhaps it's understandable right now you don't know those things, but they will be coming. It's not unusual to smell a sweet fragrance around yourself. It can be a spirit that you know from another lifetime, or it could be you evolving. And a part of you is saying, remember, I am here. We are here. Your causal body is the aura around the electronic body you created yourself. by your service on the inner spheres, before physical embodiment took place, and since then in your various incarnations. So that's all these colors around here, and it's known as your good Dharma, has created through other lives. Some parts and colors for some people will be whiter than others. It depends on what you have done as that light being throughout all your lives. When the individual decided to utilize his experiences in the seven spheres and apply for incarnation, the Holy Christ Self came into being. And for what purpose was that? To step down the vibrations of the light which forms the magnificence of the I Am Presence. So that's the presence stepping down here into the Christ, into the atmosphere in which the vehicles of the outer self could function. The Holy Christ Self, in like manner, was made up of these electrons, all spinning around a central core, and although not moving quite so rapidly as those that make up the electronic presence of the I Am, they move in complete harmony and magnificent music and exquisite fragrance. If you can visualize this picture, beloved friends, try to hold it in your imagination. So this mediumship of Christ, Jesus, comes from the presence in all purity. Right. And this is us in humanity, which has the violet flame moving consistently through it to cleanse and let go of karma. When the emotional body was created, it was made up of electrons drawn from the emotional realm, the realm of feeling, or the realm of the angels and the archangels. The little electrons that came and spun around the central core of the atoms out of which the builders of form created the emotional body. They were beautiful, harmonious, and perfect. I just want to pause for a moment and see if this comment is a question. Good morning, Julie. And it's about hitting the like button. And I hope you're not thinking of speaking over your head, perhaps some, but as you can go back and re-listen and feel and envision what I'm speaking, it'll bring a lot of understanding to you and about the preciousness of who you are. So, the mental body of the outer self was formed out of a aerial substance, the etheric body from etheric substance, and the flesh body is formed out of the elements of the earth. I tell you this for a purpose, not to bore you with trustees on creation. So, aerial substance, etheric substance, and elements of the earth. Nothing in this world, beloved friends, is static. Science has proven that so-called inanimate substance like wood or stone is also still in constant motion. Therefore, the physical body, which seems too solid and substantial to you, is composed of groups of electrons looking somewhat like the upper figure on the chart. Around those electrons, the substance of the outer world, impurity, has been drawn so that rather than having the rainbow colors of the chart, you have a clogging of the little force fields which has closed in the light of the electrons. What has been the result of this? As the accumulation has been magnetized into your flesh, it has bogged down, let us say, the vibratory action of the atoms, and they no longer vibrate in harmony with your keynote. They have lost the resiliency and the buoyancy which they have had when they vibrate in harmony with their natural God state. Some of the organs on the body, which have been particularly intruded upon by the suction of impure substance into them, cells also vibrate less rapidly than others. Then you have organic substance, which is the result of the slowing down of the electrons spinning around the central core. In spiritual healings, all that is done is that pure, unalterated light is poured into and around the organ by whichever member of the ascended host to whom the call is made. And just as you would clean out a clogged pipe, so does that light loosen and transmute the human experience which has more or less smothered the electrons. That heavy human stagnant is wedged in between the electrons which make up each atom, causing the atoms to spin more slowly and not in the rhythm of the keynote of your being. The flame of purification quickens the vibrations of the electrons and atoms, restores them to their original purity, thus allowing them to release perfect light rays. Same thing is true of your mental body. The electrons which comprise the mental body are absorbing discordant substance constantly from the atmosphere, and the same conditions apply to your flesh form. And this is in our world, the news, other people, gossip. Therefore, what your mind dwells upon secretly, you are drawing into the force fields of the electrons and atoms of your mental vehicle and your physical form as well, producing manifestations which may be read by the discerning. The vibratory action of your emotional vehicle, if qualified with inharmony of any kind, will manifest its imperfection in the substance which you have been drawn into the force field of the electrons, forming the atoms which compose the emotional body. And this stagnant energy is drawn and slows down the vibratory action, and thus you have emotional upheaval. I speak of this to you because the distressing appearances in your worlds are not as hopeless as you seem to think. Everything will change, can change, does change. Within 1 year, your physical body throws off practically all of its old substance. But unfortunately, the tendency of the life stream is to outpicture and, in fact, increase the same imperfection because you have accepted them as real in your feelings. Take, for instance, your acceptance of old age, ill health, financial lack, race, and karma. What the mirror tells you and what your kind friends report, and there's a question mark about kind. You have accepted this various expression of distress by believing in the reality of the appearances. And may I say here that you will always have reports of the type above referred to until you get the astral realm dissolved. And this is why for myself, I always say, don't come work with me unless you're wanting to change. We can clear a pattern, and the end result is then when it repeats itself, how do you choose to respond? And we talk about it. And there's a definite choice that must be made by you to then allow that to become something different. Now, if your mental field is sluggish, it is so because the space between the electrons that make up the atoms are clogged. Just exactly as your pencil sharpener gets so filled with filings that you cannot sharpen your pencil. When the spaces between the electrons are filled and the stagnant energy caused by depression, discouragement, resentment, or rebellion, whatever could have possibly happened, the mental body begins to vibrate slower, slower, and slower, until it's so sluggish that it's no longer receptive to finer thoughts and inspiration. It often happens when you try to comfort people in distress. They do not seem to want to hear you or can hear you, your words of consolation or encouragement, the mental body being so bogged down. The vibratory action so negative that is absolutely unresponsive to any inspiration, even to that from the Christ self. So, do you desire to change these conditions in your own experience? It is easily done. Light is the answer to all things. You may change the vibratory action of the mental body by calling forth the violet fire. See the atoms that compose it purified from within and without, the electrons within them spinning more rapidly and in perfect harmony. Then outside of your application hour, watch that you invite to be the guest of your mental body for the remaining 24-hour period. Change your habits of thought, feeling, and spoken word. I know in my journey, I spent a lot of time writing and repeating, reminding myself, contemplating my choice. What do I desire? Where am I? All these type of things. The righteous man in application is sometimes not so righteous in his daily living. That which you think and do and feel qualifies your energy, and that energy is entirely impersonal and scientific in its action. Application will not see you safely through the experiences of the day unless you couple it with unceasing vigilance. The same conditions hold in your emotional body. This vehicle was first created in the most magnificent colors. Oh, just a beautiful aureole. Here, too, the electrons have been compelled to vibrate more slowly than they were originally intended. So to do on account of the substance being qualified by hate, resentment, and such, causing them to become negative. The emotional bodies of the race have today gone beyond the control of the conscious self. One way to change this is to invoke the infinite I Am presence to regulate them, and then see the light from within those little electrons blazing out through them, causing them to increase the rapidity of their motion around their central core. The thoughts coming to me, or when there was time that we were offering becoming ministers to people, this is the book that we would have them read, the thoughts and awarenesses of individual masters and what was meaningful to them upon their journey. So as this one has come, perhaps it's for no more today than for you to decide, what about the love within you? What about the relationship you have with Mother, Father, your presence? Many who I've met do the Beloved I Am Presence clearing every day, 3 times. First, my discovery was I found many weren't even visualizing it. And if you don't visualize it and give it life, it will not work. Then you had to believe and know that it was all there for you. So there is a lot of training about consciousness within yourself that comes forward in what all you do when it comes to the light. It isn't, oh yeah, got that. That isn't it. It was never meant to be it. It was about a process of experience. So, and that's where I am, so I'll go here. Do you desire to change these conditions in your own experience? It is easily done. Light is the answer to all. I remember reading that. You may change the vibratory action of the mental body by calling forth the violet fire. See the atoms that compose it purified from within and without, the electrons within them spinning more rapidly and in perfect harmony. Then outside your application hour, watch what you invite to be in the guest of your mental body for the remaining 24-hour period, meaning, what are you going to think then after doing that? Change your habits of thought, feeling, and your spoken word. The righteous man application is sometimes not so righteous in his daily living. Application will not see you safely through the experiences of the day unless you couple it with unceasing vigilance. The same conditions hold you in your emotional body. This vehicle was first created in the most beautiful, magnificent colors. Oh, just a beautiful experience. Here, too, the electrons have been compelled to vibrate more slowly than they were originally intended so to do, on account of the substance being qualified by hate. The emotional bodies of the race have today gone beyond the control of the conscious self. One way to change this is to invoke the infinite I Am presence to regulate them, and see the light from within these little electrons blazing out through them, causing them to increase the rapidity of the motion around their central core. The one thing I hear more than ever today is during my sessions, they are in awe of my field keeps moving through various colors of light. Now, what would that say to you if yours was doing that? That which is slowed down and not capable of any longer reflecting light, you would just be. This is what would actually happen. Were you to sit in the atomic accelerator, there is one, a quickening of the vibratory action of the electrons as they spin around their central core. If a bird can increase the rapidity of its wing action in its flight through the air, why, in the name of all that is good, cannot men and women entrusted in the fate of the world do as much? Most certainly they can. It is practical. Now that we are enabled to do at your call, beloved friends, it is to dislodge these wedges of stagnant or discordant substance which are packed in tightly between the various light rays which from the force fields of the electrons. At your call, we can dislodge these wedges of discordant qualified energy, thereby increasing the vibratory action of your inner bodies. If you will let them go, let me warn you again, beloved friends, it is in the tendency of the ego, after the dislodgement takes place, to look around for that which we have taken away from it. Beloved ones, mankind in the outer self is so happy living in habits that it even misses distress. You would be amazed if you could stand at inner levels and see what takes place in the mental and emotional bodies when people have received healings. You would see them experiment sometimes, for instance, with a leg that has been healed so that they may use it to walk again. They wonder if the healing is really complete and whether the leg will support them. You will be amazed to see a man who has been healed of a paralyzed arm, so that he may use it, attempt to pick up a cup, and in his inner feelings almost hope that his former concept would not be changed. And it's all nonsense! Now, beloved friends, in the name of all that is holy and in the name of his human race, let us set unto action through your calls such as a purification that the emotional bodies of all mankind might be swept free and clear of all discordant qualified substance, leaving them open and receptive to the words and the instruction of the ascended host of light. Such a purification that the emotional bodies of all mankind might be swept free and clear of all discordant qualified service. Yes, I'm going to start that reading again. I apologize. Now, beloved friends, in the name of all that is holy and in the name of this human race, let us set into action through your calls such as a purification that the emotional bodies of all mankind might be swept free and clear of all discord and qualified substance, leaving them open and receptive to the words and the instruction of the ascended host of light. Put on, beloved one, Saint Germain's bright robes of freedom, and by your calls and visualizations see every member of the race clothed likewise. I hold this conception for you, your planet, and all that lives upon it. Thank you, and good evening, Diana. So, we will give Diana gratitude. I hope that you receive something from that. And if you have questions, you can ask me. But isn't it interesting that last piece, written so long ago, and here on Monday, we all went to Dwan Kuhl's place and you wore violet robes? Interesting. There are no mistakes. There's purposeful actions. So, was that an initiation? I guess that would be up to you and within your own heart. It is not that I'm here to bring about initiates. I'm here to speak to those hearts who are looking for something more, that those who know there's more yet don't know how to grasp it or to become it. So, Saint Germain's work is all done in his heart, and God's heart as it was brought. So, this is the truth of who we are. Yes, and if you do healing, you work from this. This is how I teach you, not from here. This becomes the vessel to hold this light. So, any questions? I know it takes a minute to write if you do. I always get so empowered reading the masters and feeling their commitment and unwavering. I would say that's what it is, the unwavering awareness of that which they believe. So the question here today is, whatever that reading may have meant to you, what are your thoughts and actions going to be like for the rest of the day? Are you going to choose loving ones, kind ones, feelings versus emotions? Or is it going to help you begin to not react emotionally to things, but to contemplate and become the observer? So many things, the realization on that journey brings an opportunity to everyone to choose who you stand to be in your light in that physical form today. So, thoughts, questions? I do not believe I could have spoken it better. Yes, there are times that the Dharma of who you are is recognized. Well, thank you, Barbara Ward. Let's see what you have to say. Wow, it's a lot to contemplate. I understand. That's why I say it's on a video for you. Finally understand how the electrons of our different bodies are slowed down and how our calls for help can change that. Even more so, how your choice to be present can change it. For only each of you and your individuality has the choice to decide to, instead of be emotionally disturbed, to be heightened in awareness, to bring illumination to it, or to bring love to it, even to contemplate how the seven spheres work, clarity. That's why I was drawn to it, because I felt that it taught that person who may be aware of that image but really didn't understand what it meant. So, through many lifetimes, we have created, lots of information to ponder on. And it's, I guess, the proper thing to say is, well, I apologize for that, but no, that wasn't the reason it was brought. It was to know that it was time for some of you to know these things so that there's a movement forward that you can choose or not. You know, I'm sure you can all remember a moment when you felt tired, lethargic, upset. The larger book I read from today is a textbook that Douglas and his studies. It's not something I can tell you what it is. It's not something you can get. That's why I read it. And I got his permission first. So I could not tell you where you could go to find that because it's unique. Oh, what was I saying? So every moment of every day is a beginning choice for how you want to create tomorrow. I always tell people what you're thinking and doing today is next week, next month, what's going to show up. And thoughts, things, they go out into the world and they never stop. And dependent on the energy you gave it when you thought it, is how quickly it'll put clothes on and come back, and there's more of what left, and then you have to handle that. And if you've done it again, then there'll be more that puts clothes on and goes out and brings more back. So this is why I say the choice is to choose something different. What is there to choose differently than being, I'm not good enough? Oh, sure, that's what they always do to me. Those aren't truths. Those are fears and illusions that the ego tries to tell you so that you turn to him to help you. Not a truth. None of it's real. You are all beings of beautiful light. And that is what this responds back to you. This is all beautiful. And that he even descended the Christ self down there to be for you, which I would call the higher self. And as you get to know your higher self and work with that energy, the higher self knows all about the I am presence, the individualized experience of God, and also your world. That's why that's the bridge. So, is it as powerful as having other masters come around you? Not right now, because first you must embrace that part of you. And the higher self goes through a motion of going through all your chakras and coming down to where you can be a vessel and hold that light. Okay? Well, you're welcome for letting you know. Anybody else? I know it's a lot of information, but St. Germain Press, like I told you the other day, you can go on and purchase book 3, which is all about thought. It's what Doug would call it the Bible. Those books you can get. A lot of them probably wouldn't make sense to you. First one is to get that. You can get this little thing. It has a lot of mantras and all to do it. I'm not even saying that's what you have to do. First, begin to learn how to use your thought, what you're thinking. Feelings and emotions are two different things. Feelings are in your heart. Emotions are in your second chakra. All right? So, Barbara again. Now, when I look at that picture of the I am presence, there will be a deeper understanding of what it means and how our choices, thoughts, and emotions impact. Yes, it's either going to be vibrant like this if you're positive and living life in, like Jesus would say, see the light of other people without judgment, without criticism. Or if you are without those things, this is what it's going to be like. And auras radiate in flashes. They don't just hold one color. They're like a rainbow. And Carol, I think those are flames. I can't tell. Candles, maybe? But thank you. And I guess her signal is telling me it's getting late. So, Monday, I will be back and we will do another healing with the Eye of Horus, which I can tell you is right now going to St. Germain's Castle. So, yes, I've changed focus and going to help you in discovering your mastery, hopefully reaching out to another whole level of beings who are interested. And for it is your truth. It's who you are. It is who you are. So I want everyone to have a good weekend. Let's see about how positivity goes this weekend. Something's happening and you're not happy about it. Take a minute and go down deep in your heart and choose to come up out of the water with a different thought, a different way of looking at it. And that's how you begin. You begin to choose. I am the love I'm looking for. Nothing is ever meant to hurt me. There is no such pain. Let me bring it love. All these type of things. So, thank you, Julie Johnson. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. And if you need to, read it again and again. We all do, just so you know. Many blessings to all of you. I hope you enjoy Arcturus and Diana today. Wow, honey. Blessings.